New tonight at 5, CMPD investigating after an alleged domestic dispute turned deadly.
Police say 35-year-old Aaliyah Terry, a mother of two, was stabbed to death on Gold Pan Road. This is in Northeast Charlotte. Police say just hours before that stabbing, officers received a call at the same home for a domestic dispute.
NBC Charlotte's Tanya Mendes has been following this all day and joins us with the latest. Tanya.
CMPD now actively looking for the suspect in the case, the victim's live-in boyfriend. They say just hours before she was killed, they'd been called to the house for help. Friends say they knew Aaliyah Terry was in a toxic relationship.
It's been escalating. She wanted him to leave the house.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories. Aaliyah Terry was a mother of two. According to her family and friends, she was a radiant person inside and out, kept a dazzling smile. She also wrote a book called The Queen Experience because she wanted her own story to inspire other abusive women. But sadly, on July the 2nd, 2019, her life took a turn for the worse. A community in Charlotte, North Carolina is mourning after Aaliyah Terry was killed in her home on Tuesday night, just days ahead of the release of her first book. Charlotte Mecklenburg police believe the 35-year-old mother of two was stabbed to death by her 32-year-old boyfriend, Isaiah Henderson. Police came to the home just 4 hours earlier after someone called the police. After a verbal altercation around 10 p.m., Henderson left the home and Terry told the police the situation had calmed down so she would not be pressing charges. At 3 a.m., police found her with stab wounds and took her to the hospital where she was pronounced dead. Earlier in the evening, around 4 hours earlier, CMPD received a 911 call from this location regarding a verbal dispute between two parties. Officers spoke to a female on the scene. There was no male present. Officers were told by the female that no crime had been committed. Neighbors and family members told multiple news outlets that Henderson was controlling and very abusive. Hours later, she was found dead, and now Isaiah Henderson is on the run. Friends stated that Aaliyah and Isaiah got into an argument very often. He has been trying to control her, like stealing her keys so she can't leave the house, a neighbor told NBC. Yesterday we was on the phone together and she said he's about to snatch my phone, and it took me hours to be able to get in contact with her. It's been escalating.
35-year-old mom dating a man named Isaiah Henderson, who goes by Drew, but friends say there'd been some issues.
And she just got tired. I don't know. She mentioned that she wanted him to leave.
Then, late last night, police got a 911 call from the house about a verbal altercation. But when officers got on scene, Henderson was gone.
Were told by the female no crime had been committed. They offered her options.
4 hours later, Terry was dead. Police say Henderson came back and stabbed her to death.
I had to talk to her for a couple of hours after that. And then I got the call this morning that she's gone.
The crime leaving children to grow up without their mother. A neighbor says Terry's children were in the house when their mother was attacked. The neighbor says their father arrived a while later to carry them away. And CMPD tells us they have had issues at the home before. There was a breaking and entering call not too long ago, but it turned out to be Henderson who lived at the home. So once again, technically no crime was committed. Reporting at CMPD headquarters, I'm Tanya Mendes, NBC Charlotte.
Henderson turned himself into the police on Thursday afternoon, where he was interviewed and charged with Terry's murder. Her ex-husband rushed to the scene and is taking care of their kids, who were at the home when the attack happened. He was inconsolable and said she was a wonderful person. Nothing but good things to say. That's why she was my wife. She was a good mother and just got into a bad relationship with somebody, he said. According to the WBTV, in the past year, there were 19 calls to 911 made from their apartment. Terry was on the verge of getting her writing published. She wrote parts of The Queen Experience and detailed her experience with domestic violence. The book is slated for release next week. Nikita Davis stated it encouraged women across the world to play their royal position, encouraging people to live out their God-sized dreams. She was a beautiful person inside and out. I want women to walk away knowing there is help.
Man pleaded not guilty today in the stabbing death of a local domestic violence advocate. Police say that Isaiah Henderson stabbed Aaliyah Terry to death nearly a year ago. Terry's mother was in the courtroom for that plea today, and afterwards she told our Mark Becker she's still stunned by what happened.
It was a short hearing here this morning, only a few minutes or so, but it had a tremendous impact on the family of a young woman who had lived with and police say died from domestic violence.
It's been very rough knowing that my daughter was murdered.
Wanda Sanders stood between her two grandchildren and tried to pick herself up again after watching the man charged with killing her daughter plead not guilty. Police had found Aaliyah Terry stabbed to death in her Northeast Charlotte home last July. Several days later, Terry's boyfriend, Isaiah Henderson, turned himself in to police. Prosecutors had offered him a plea to second-degree murder that would have him spend 18 years in prison, but today he turned them down. I know that's not what you wanted to hear.
No, because how could you murder someone and turn around and say you're not guilty? I mean, the incident, you bought knives. They found the knives from Dollar General in the backyard.
It especially hurts, Sanders says, because her daughter had been working on a book about domestic violence when she was murdered. And with so many now isolated by coronavirus lockdowns, she has a plea to other victims.
And I'm asking all you women or even men that's being victims to get out before you could leave so you can have a life and not happen what happened to my daughter.
Isaiah Henderson didn't say anything in court that would explain why he turned down that plea offer. He will now go to trial on a first-degree murder charge and could face a mandatory life sentence. At the Mecklenburg County Courthouse, I'm Mark Becker.
I'm going to give my thoughts and opinion on this story. Another sad situation that could have been prevented, in my opinion. According to the documents, there was no protective order for her. Meaning, each time the police came, she never went to press charges against this guy. Even though the police was called 19 times within a year, she never pressed charges against this man. There's a lot of women, they call for help, but they don't press charges. She left 2 kids behind. She was writing a book of her experience of what she was going through or have been through. It sounds like to me he was a jealous man and he didn't want her to achieve things. He didn't want her to expand. He didn't want her to blossom like a flower. Her friends also stated that she was thinking about leaving him. Women, we need to stop trying to wait to see if a man is going to act right. Trying to wait to see if he's going to change. A man will only change when he wants to change, not when you want him to. Do you want to live for your kids or die in vain? Something to think about. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below. I will continue to keep my thoughts and prayer with the family, and I will see y'all in my next video.